I was sitting in my studio apartment in Seattle staring at my phone screen, watching my bank balance drop from $58,000 to $2,847 in the span of 3 days. My phone buzzed. Mom. Her voice came through sharp and accusing before I could even say hello. She wanted to know why my account only showed $2,800 when my sister Stephanie needed $55,000 for her dream house down payment. I laughed. Not out loud, but inside where it counted. They thought they took everything from me. They had no idea the money was already gone. Before I tell you how I pulled off the greatest financial escape of my life, I need to know something. Where are you watching this from? Drop your city or country in the comments. And if you have ever dealt with family who felt entitled to your hard-earned cash, hit that like button. Trust me, you will want to stick around for how this all went down. Subscribe if you have not already, because this story gets wild. I grew up in Portland, Oregon, in a household that could best be described as comfortably middle class. My dad, Frank, spent 30 years working for the Postal Service sorting mail in a windowless facility. My mom, Gloria, worked as a medical secretary at a dental office downtown. We were not rich, but we were not struggling either. Then there was my sister, Stephanie. 4 years younger than me, she arrived into this world with an invisible crown on her head that nobody bothered to remove. From the moment she could walk, she was the princess, the baby, the one who could do no wrong. I learned early on that I was the responsible one, the one who did not need help, the one who figured things out. When I brought home straight A's in middle school, the response was a nod and a casual good job. When Stephanie brought home a C-, there was a celebration dinner at her favorite restaurant because she tried her best. I am not saying I resented her back then. I just noticed the difference. I kept my head down, studied hard, and got myself a full-ride scholarship to Oregon State University for computer science. Stephanie went to community college for 2 semesters, decided it was not for her, and moved back home to work part-time at a retail store in the mall. My parents never pushed her. They said she was still figuring things out. They said I was always the independent one, like that somehow made it fair. I graduated in 2019 with a degree that actually meant something in the job market. Within 3 months, I had an offer from a tech startup in Seattle. $72,000 a year to start. I packed my life into my beat-up Honda Civic and drove north ready to build something for myself. The work was intense. Coding sprints, late nights, endless debugging sessions. But I loved it. I was good at it. 2 years later, I got promoted to senior software engineer. My salary jumped to $95,000. I was 28 years old, and for the first time in my life, I felt like I was winning. Here's the thing about winning, though. I did not let it go to my head. I rented a studio apartment for $1,200 a month in a neighborhood that was safe but not fancy. I cooked my meals at home. I took the bus to work. I did not buy a flashy car or designer clothes. Every month I put money into savings. Emergency fund first, then a down payment fund for a house. By September of 2024, I had $58,000 sitting in my account. My plan was simple. Buy a small place in the suburbs of Seattle by the end of 2025. Own something that was mine. Build equity instead of paying rent. It felt good to have a plan. It felt even better to be on track. Then my mom called. It was a Saturday afternoon and I was doing laundry when my phone rang. Her voice had that excited, slightly manic edge that I recognized immediately. She started talking about Stephanie before I could even ask how she was doing. Apparently, my sister had met the love of her life. His name was Kyle, 30 years old, worked in sales for a car dealership. They had been dating for 6 months and things were getting serious. They wanted to buy a house together. They found the perfect townhouse in a neighborhood not far from where we grew up. $275,000, 3 bedrooms, 2 bathrooms, a little backyard. It sounded nice. I told her I was happy for Stephanie. Then came the ask. They needed $55,000 for the down payment, 20% to avoid private mortgage insurance. Kyle had some savings, but not enough. Stephanie had nothing. My mom asked if I could help. She phrased it like a casual question, like she was asking if I wanted to come over for dinner. Your sister could really use some help. You have been doing so well. I took a breath. I told her no. I explained that I had been saving that money for my own place. I was planning to buy next year. I had worked hard for it. I was not saying no forever, just not now. There was silence on the other end. Then her voice changed. The warmth drained out of it like someone pulled a plug. You are so selfish. She is your baby sister. Family helps family. I tried to reason with her. I reminded her that I had helped Stephanie with rent twice last year. I paid for her car repair when her transmission died. I was not saying no because I did not care. I was saying no because I had my own life to build. She hung up on me. 10 minutes later, my dad called. His voice was softer, more measured. Son, you know how your mother gets. Just think about it. Stephanie really needs this. I told him the same thing I told my mom. I had thought about it. The answer was no. I had my own life to build. He sighed, told me to sleep on it, and hung up. Over the next week, I got 15 text messages from my mom, 8 from Stephanie. The messages range from guilt-tripping to outright accusations. Stephanie sent me one that said, "I cannot believe you would let me down like this. I thought you cared about me." I blocked her number temporarily. I needed space to think. I felt a pang of guilt, sure. But I also felt something else. Resolve. This was my money. I earned it. I was allowed to say no. October arrived, and with it came an unexpected visit. I was halfway through my morning coffee when someone knocked on my door. I opened it to find my parents and Stephanie standing in the hallway. They had driven up from Portland without telling me. Surprised, my mom said, but her smile did not reach her eyes. They came inside, filled my tiny apartment with their presence, and within minutes the conversation turned to the house. Stephanie sat on my couch and cried, real tears streaming down her face. She said Kyle was going to leave her if they could not buy the house. She said this was her one chance at happiness. My mom jumped in, her voice rising. You want your sister to lose the love of her life because you are greedy? I stood in the middle of my own living room feeling like I was on trial. I told them it was not fair to frame it that way. I told them that if Kyle was going to leave Stephanie over a house, then maybe he was not worth it. My dad spoke next, his tone heavy with disappointment. We raised you better than this. We sacrificed everything for you. That was when something inside me snapped. I looked at him and said, you did not sacrifice for me. I paid for my own college with scholarships. I paid my own rent since I was 19. You did not give me anything I did not earn myself. The argument went on for 3 hours. They cycled through every manipulation tactic they could think of. Guilt, anger, disappointment, tears. I stood my ground. Eventually they left. No hug, no goodbye, just a heavy silence and the sound of the door closing behind them. After they were gone, I called my best friend Marcus. We had worked together at the startup before he moved to a different company. I told him everything. He listened, and when I finished, he said something that made my blood run cold. Dude, they're going to try to access your account. I have seen this before. My cousin went through the same thing. His parents tried to transfer money out of his account by resetting his password. It hit me all at once. My parents knew my old email password. I had created it back in college and I never changed it. They could reset my bank password through email recovery. They had access. I hung up and immediately changed my email password. I enabled 2-factor authentication on everything. Then I did something I never thought I would have to do. I went to a different bank, a credit union across town, and opened a new savings account. I transferred $55,000 into it. I left $3,000 in my old account for groceries and bills. If they were going to try something, they would find an empty vault. I felt paranoid doing it. I felt like I was being dramatic, but I also felt safer, and that feeling was worth more than any guilt. A week later, my dad called. His voice sounded tired, almost defeated. "Braden, I need to apologize. Your mother and I were too harsh. We understand your position." I was caught off guard. I felt a flicker of hope. Maybe they finally got it. Maybe this was over. He asked if we could video call. He said he missed seeing my face. I agreed. We set up a Zoom call that evening. When the screen connected, my parents were sitting on their couch in Portland. They looked worn down. My mom spoke first. "We are sorry. We were wrong to pressure you. We talked for 15 minutes about normal things. My job, the weather, old family stories. It almost felt like things were going back to normal. Then my dad said something strange. 'By the way, we want to send you some photos from your childhood. Can you check your email real quick?' We sent them an hour ago." I opened my email on my laptop while we were still on the call. There were no photos. I told him I did not see anything. He said that was weird. He would resend them. Then he asked, "What is your email again?" I gave it to him. "And you are still using the same password from college, the one with your high school mascot?" I felt my stomach drop. I told him no. I changed it. He paused. "Oh, well, I will try to resend later." The call ended shortly after. I sat there staring at my screen, my heart pounding. They had just tried to fish for my password, my own father. 2 days later, I got a call from my bank, the old one. They needed to verify a large withdrawal request. Someone had tried to transfer $55,000 to an account under the name Stephanie Rodriguez. I felt the room spin. I asked how they tried. The bank representative explained that someone had reset my password via email recovery, but the transfer was flagged as unusual activity. I told them to block it. I told them it was fraud. They said it was already blocked. Then they said something that confirmed everything. The password reset came from Portland, Oregon. "Do you know anyone there?" "Yes," I said. "My parents." There was a pause on the line. The representative asked if I wanted to file a police report. I said no, not yet. I just wanted the account secure. They walked me through additional security measures. When I hung up, I sat in silence for a long time. They really tried. My own parents tried to steal from me, not borrow, not ask. Steal. I did not call them, not right away. I needed time to think. I needed to process what had just happened. Marcus came over that night with pizza and beer. We sat on my couch and I told him everything. He looked at me like I had just survived a car crash. "What are you going to do?" I did not have an answer yet. All I knew was that I was not giving them a single cent. Not now, not ever. Over the next few days, a plan started forming in my mind. They did not know I had moved the money. They thought my savings were still sitting in that old account. What if I let them think they succeeded? I made a decision. I did not change the password on my old bank account. I left it vulnerable on purpose. I knew they would try again. A week later, my mom called. Her voice was sweet, almost sticky. "Sweetie, we talked to the bank about helping Stephanie. They said we need your permission." I played along. I told her I already said no. She pressed harder. "We know where you keep your information. We just need you to confirm the transfer." I asked if she went through my stuff. She said, "We are family. We do not have secrets." I let the silence hang there for a moment. Then I said the words that would seal their fate. "Fine, do whatever you want. I am tired of fighting." I hung up. Then I waited. 2 days passed. I got an email notification from my bank. A transfer request for $55,000 had been initiated. I called the bank immediately. I told them to let it go through, process as much as was available. The representative sounded confused. "Sir, there is only $2,847 In this account after fees. I smiled. Perfect. Do it. The transfer went through. $2,847 landed in Stephanie's account. That afternoon, I checked Facebook. Stephanie had posted a photo of a house with the caption, "Dreams do come true." "Thank you to everyone who supported us," my mom commented underneath. "So proud of you, baby girl." There was no mention of me. No thank you. Nothing. That evening, I got a FaceTime call. It was a group call. My parents, Stephanie and Kyle, who I was meeting for the first time, everyone looked excited. Stephanie was bouncing in her seat. "I cannot believe we got the house." "The down payment went through," my mom chimed in. "Well, your brother finally came through, even if he acted like a baby about it." I stayed quiet. Kyle spoke next, his voice casual and dismissive. "Yeah, man, thanks. Though you could have helped sooner instead of being difficult." I bit my lip. Stephanie kept going. "Honestly, Braden, you are probably broke now. How does it feel to have nothing?" They all laughed. My mom added, "He will be fine. He makes good money. He just needs to learn to be less selfish." I let them finish. I let them enjoy their moment. Then I spoke. "You are right, I am broke. Completely broke." Stephanie grinned. "See, that is what happens when you finally do the right thing." I paused. "Can I ask you something, Steph? How much did you actually receive?" Her smile faltered. What I repeated the question. "Check your account. How much came through?" She pulled out her phone. Her face went pale. "It says $2,847. My mom nearly shouted, "What? That cannot be right. We transferred $55,000. I let the words hang in the air. "No," I said. "You transferred everything that was in that account." My dad spoke, his voice shaking. "What are you talking about?" I smiled. "I moved my money 3 weeks ago to a different bank. The account you accessed, I left just enough for my groceries." Silence. Complete silence. My mom found her voice first. "You moved your money. That money was supposed to be for family." I shook my head. "No, Mom. That money was mine. I earned it. And you tried to steal it." Kyle jumped in. "Wait, so we do not have the down payment?" Stephanie started crying. "Braden, how could you do this to me?" I kept my voice calm. "I did not do anything to you. You and Mom and Dad tried to take my money without asking. I just protected what was mine." My dad tried one last time. "You lied to us." I corrected him. "No, I just did not tell you what you did not need to know." "There is a difference." My mom's voice turned venomous. "You are a horrible son." I took a breath. "Maybe. But I am a son who still has $55,000 in the bank. Good luck with the house." I ended the call. I sat there in my apartment, my heart racing, my hands shaking. But underneath all of that, I felt something I had not felt in months. Relief. Freedom. I had won. The weeks that followed were predictably messy. I woke up the next morning to 47 text messages from my mom. They ranged from angry rants to guilt-laden monologues about how I was tearing the family apart. I did not respond to any of them. Stephanie tried calling 12 times in 2 days. I let every call go to voicemail. I heard through a mutual acquaintance that they ended up taking out a loan from the bank with a higher interest rate to cover the down payment. They still bought the house, but the financial pressure was significant. Kyle and Stephanie were fighting more. My parents were stressed about co-signing the loan. The whole situation was unraveling, and I felt no guilt about it. They made their choices. I made mine. A month later, my dad sent an email. The subject line was simple: "We need to talk." I opened it. The message was 3 paragraphs of him explaining that what I did was wrong, that family should come first, and that I owed them an explanation. I read it twice. Then I replied with one sentence: "What I did was protect myself. What you did was betray my trust. We can talk when you are ready to apologize." He never responded. My mom stopped texting. Stephanie unfriended me on social media. It was like I had been erased from the family. And you know what? I was okay with that. I did not need their approval. I did not need their version of love, which apparently came with conditions and expectations, and the belief that my bank account was community property. I started going to therapy, not because I felt broken, but because I wanted to process everything in a healthy way. My therapist helped me understand that what happened was not my fault. She helped me see that setting boundaries, even painful ones, was an act of self-respect. I learned that I did not owe anyone my future just because we shared DNA. It was liberating. For the first time in my life, I felt like I was living for myself, not for the approval of people who only valued me when I was useful. In December of 2024, I bought a condo. It was small, just 2 bedrooms in a quiet suburb of Bellevue right outside Seattle. I used $50,000 from the savings I had protected. The closing day felt surreal. I signed the papers, got the keys, and walked into a space that was entirely mine. No landlord, no rent, just me and the quiet hum of ownership. I invited Marcus and a few friends over for a housewarming party. We ate pizza, drank cheap beer, and laughed until midnight. Nobody from my family was there, and I did not miss them, not even a little. I learned something important through all of this. Family does not mean unlimited access to your life or your wallet. Love is not measured by how much you sacrifice until you have nothing left. Real love respects boundaries. Real love does not manipulate or guilt trip or steal. I love my sister, I love my parents, but I love myself more. And that is not selfish, that is survival. They taught me a lesson they did not intend to teach. They showed me that trust is earned, not given by blood. They showed me that sometimes the people who should protect you are the ones you need protection from. I do not hate them. I really do not. But I do not owe them my future either. Setting boundaries cost me my relationship with them. But it saved my life. It saved my financial stability. It saved my sense of self. I am not broke. I am free. I wake up every morning in a home that I own, and I feel proud. Proud of the work I put in, proud of the choices I made, proud that I stood my ground when it mattered most. Sometimes the people who should protect you are the ones you need protection from. And sometimes the best revenge is not revenge at all. It is just living well. Today I am sitting in my own home. It is small. It is mine. And nobody can take that from me. They took $2,847. They thought they took everything. But what they really lost was me. And honestly, I have never felt richer. So let me ask you something. Have you ever had to set a boundary with family that cost you the relationship? Have you ever been in a situation where saying no felt impossible but necessary? Drop your story in the comments. I would love to hear it. And if this story resonated with you, hit that like button. Share it with someone who needs to hear that protecting yourself is not selfish. Subscribe for more real stories about navigating the messy parts of life. Thank you for listening. I hope you find the courage to protect what is yours. Take care of yourself. You deserve it.